Welcome to EnergizeUtv. This is a space for conscious conversation, grounded leadership, and embodied truth. I'm Angel Marie. Each episode delivers fresh perspectives, expert insight, and actionable strategies to help viewers elevate their energy, expand their potential, and live with greater purpose and vitality. This is not just a TV episode. It is a movement to awaken the world, raise collective consciousness, and inspire positive change. Welcome back to EnergizeUtv, where energy meets modern life. I'm Angel Marie, your activation catalyst. What if the greatest drain on your focus is not distraction, yet misdirected perception? You know, every time I arrive up here to this Wrigley Mansion, I'm reminded about how perception shapes experience. You know, Mr. Wrigley built this home in 1929, and it was the smallest of 35 of his other homes. This is the smallest, and it has, 16,000 square feet over, and 24 rooms and 17 bathrooms, 11 fireplaces. I mean, it is amazing. Yet it is undeniable, right? The presence that this place is. And this is also where juicy fruit became the first flavor chewing gum. I mean, do you remember that? I mean, it just blows me away. And it's a simple idea that changed an entire industry. Hey, you know what? What you feel when you arrive here in this scale is intention. The care, the precision, the clarity, the vision still lives true in this space. And that is the reminder for us today. When perception is clear, focus and sharpness, and even the smallest choices can unlock what? That extraordinary potential. I love that word, extraordinary, because I get called that sometimes too. And I bet you do too. So it's amazing to come to this place and be able to shoot from such a legacy and historical place. So thank you for being with me. And you know what? I want to say thank you to Prosperity Media Network for producing and distributing EnergizeUtv, because it also amplifies this conversation that reaches viewers across the globe. And today we're going to continue this conversation as we explore this focus with our guest, Nicole Fonovich. Because this week's conversation is Ignite Your Focus, Increase Your Potential. And Nicole brings a rare blend of leadership, education, and system thinking. She is a past entrepreneur and also a former executive. And she has an advanced training across education, business, technology. She builds corporation wellness systems. Wait until you hear her. And her practical frameworks at the intersection of strategy and human performance and holistic leadership, oh my gosh. She's helping individuals, entrepreneurs, organizations sharpen focus and operate on their highest potential. And before we go any further in this conversation, I want to ground us in something that's really essential. And that is energy is the foundation of everything. And you know that is because you hear it all the time, don't you? You're always hearing about energy. Oh, this, it's a big buzzword. But you know what? I love this because Einstein said, and I quote, energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to the other. This is huge because no matter what energies are inside you, right, or energies that you bring to the table, it will never go away. It will never dissolve. But you can change the form of it. And that's the stuff that gets me riled up because that's what I've been teaching for almost 30 years in my energetic expansion day experiences, because everything is energy. Energy is always moving around us. Energy is connection. And even when you can't see it, that's the big thing that people are realizing. You can feel energy before you even think it. You walk into a room and you might feel heavy. That's energy. You might be hanging out with somebody and they feel really scared and you leave and you go, I feel really drained. That's energy. But this energy is in motion around you. And in this motion around you is your biofield, your personal energy bubble. And you know, I say biofield and I also say what? Energy field. quantum field. And and you go, what is this field that she's talking about? It's the invisible energy environment around your body that creates this electromagnetic. And did you know your body is electric? And it's coming from where? Your heart, your brain, and your nervous system. That information moves beyond your skin. That's the biofield. Into the space all the way around. But did you know, now this is the one that always gets me, and I love telling you, is that the heart creates a measurable electromagnetic field that extends beyond the body. Yes, we know this. It is 5,000 times greater than the brain. So when I'm saying, admit your energy, admit your energy, and see the energy just threw me over, and come from a place where this energy is coming from your heart, because it's 5,000 greater than the brain. That's why it is what you think about, you bring about. Ooh, wait a minute. What you think about, you bring about. Whatever that energy is that you think, and that emotion from the heart is making it so. So I always tell my teachers, I always tell my students and everyone around, let's just say this, it's easy. Everybody with me right now, everything in my life is easy. When you create that vibration around you that says, everything is easy. I'm going to do the laundry and it's easy. I am going to go and take this test and it's easy. I'm going to go get this job because it's easy. Do you see where I'm going with that? So I hope you remember that one, because that is a writer downer, and I want you to remember that one. So now let's talk about perception energy, because this is the important part. And we're going to take the quote right out of the Shine On book. And it is secret number 1. And I did that on purpose because it has to be secret number 1, because perception is everything. Everybody perceives things differently. And I love this quote. And yes, I'm quoting myself. Maintain a positive perception about yourself, and you will find and you will have limitless possibilities in your life. Let's break that down a little bit, because if you breathe into what that beautiful quote is, it's about possibilities in your life. And perceptions is the lens through which you focused is formed. Woo. What you believe about yourself determines what you notice, what you filter out, where you're at in your energy naturally goes. This quote is simple because it doesn't really ask you to do what? Fix anything. It doesn't ask you to prove anything. It asks you to choose how you see yourself. Now, this is for everyone, mama bears, papa bears, and I know I always say that because I love it, and entrepreneurs, and even you CEOs, even the ones that are going to school. This is it. The moment perception shifts, focus follows. Ooh, let's take that in again. Because when you shift your focus because of your perception, this is what happens. It's powerful because your potential is limitless. And when self-perception is aligned, focus stops. Ooh. And it becomes and starts to become scattered. It starts to become intentional. Very good, very good. Possibilities expand, not through effort, yet through clarity. We talked about clarity last week, I believe, and how important clarity is. So understanding that when you have that clarity, you have the possibilities that can expand. And that is exactly what today's conversation is about. Is igniting the focus by refining perception. So potential is no longer chased, right? It is revealed. Oh, I love that one. It's like people say, I want to find my truth. I want to find my peace. And I go, no. There's no finding, right? It's igniting it because it's never been outside of you. So you don't have to chase anything. It is revealing this. Perception is not just a thought pattern. It is an energetic state. And I've talked about this before a couple times, about the energetic state and to connect to that. Before you can ever focus on a task, goal, or a choice, a decision, your energy already made a judgment about it. Ooh, think about that. That judgment determines whether you're focused, feels open, or strained. energetic or what? Depleted. And most of us are running on depletion. We really are. So I really encourage, because perception is the energetic interpretation you place on the experience you're having, the experience that you're going through right now, right here, right? Because two people, and then you even bring more people, it's even more, but two people can look at the same situation and walk away with completely different levels of clarity, confidence, and momentum. And they might even have action steps and have a completely different way that they look at it. Now, the difference is not because one's intelligent, one's not. That has nothing to do with it. It's not the capacity of the person. It is perception. And when perception is aligned, energy moves clearly. When perception is distorted, energy becomes what? Fragmented. And when you're fragmented, energy shows up. It's usually as overthinking, second guessing, procrastination, and mental fatigue. And I see that a lot, that procrastination, because I even do that. Because I'll get ready to send an email or I'll get ready to do something, and I find myself going back and making sure it's okay. That's procrastination. Even though it's like, oh no, but I want to make sure it's okay. I really want to get this one to you, because we do this one where we go back to make sure it's at that level, and but really we're procrastinating because our perception is oh man, I can't send it because it's not going to land. Or what happens if they don't want it? Ooh, take that one in, because that is the helpful part. Because your nervous system responds to perception before logic even comes online. So the logic of whatever's happening, your perception already went in. Your perception says something is unsafe, overwhelming, or unattainable. Your body tightens, your breath shortens, and your focus narrows. Now, I've been working on this for 30 years, so I know in my nervous system, I know when I feel that. But most of us don't know really how we feel because we're running so fast. And remember something, and that this is a biology response to perception. And when perception is supportive, the body relaxes, breath deepens, and what happens? Your attention steadies. The focus becomes available. This is why effort alone does not create sustainable focus. It cannot outwork or misalign your perception. Oh, is this all making sense to you? I hope it's landing with you, because focus becomes sustainable when perception creates a sense of internal safety and possibilities. When you perceive yourself as capable, resourceful, and supported, your energy naturally does what? Organizes around that matters most to you, whatever that happens to be. It's a good one to really check in on how that feels. So this is proof that this helps, that focus will turn towards self-protection every single time if you're not in the right place with it. So understanding this and moving forward is some obstructions different perception, entirely different use of energy. I want you to take that in. This is especially important for you leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionary holders, because when your perception is reactive, your focus is consistently being pulled outward by urgency, noise, external demand. And I know you have a lot of external that you have to take care of. We all do, but it's the noise. And I like that word because that really explains how much you all are going through. And I see you going through it. So when your perception is intentional, your focus becomes selective. That selective focus is what allows potential and combine rather than disappearance. So perception teaches your energy what deserves your attention. It tells your system, this matters, this does not. This is worthy by time, this is not. Without this intentional perception of focus, you can't get to that, because what happens is you start to do a habit that often reflects past survival. You've heard this one before. The survival, the not being present possibly, these all reflect that. This is why it's so important to redefine your perception. Is not about positive thinking. Let's just take this again. It's not about redefining your positive thinking. It's about the energetic, that accelerating, that being in that place of regularity, seeing yourself clearly, seeing situations with the potentiality of it, seeing challenges without aggressiveness or minimizing it. Because when perception becomes accurate, energy stops leaking. I really want you to just take a moment and breathe into this, because focus becomes what? Stabilized. And that's what we want. We want you to be focused on stabilizing. The potential becomes usable. And it's just limitless. This is the work of perception. Not forcing clarity, not chasing focus. Big one. Yet aligning the lens through which you see yourself and your life. And once that lens is refined, focus no longer has to be pushed. It just does what? It just emerges. And in that emerging, and I really want you to ground this as an example right now, because perception is not a theoretical. It shows up early in life, often before you even have language for it. And I know that one firsthand, because as a child, I was diagnosed with learning disabilities. Reading and writing were difficult for me. School did not come easy. Oh my gosh, I had tutors every week. Dyslexic back then, because, back then they just thought I was stupid. They had just figured I'd never make it. And even teachers. When I remember in third grade vividly that I had a teacher that said, I just want you to know, looking at my mama, and said, she probably won't make it through high school, let alone go to college. And I remember looking at her. Can you see me? I'm looking up at her. And I was looking up, and I could tell she was mad, but I didn't understand what was going on. Because, happy-go-lucky angel. And what did she say? My mama took me by the side. She looked at me and she said, baby, you don't listen to her. You're special. And you know what? I held on to that. And she looked at that teacher and she said, shame on you. Shame on you. And she got me out of there. I'll never forget that. And going to school and getting a full ride scholarship to the University of Oklahoma. And when I got there, they were like, oh my gosh, I could not, they had to give me tutors. And of course they did. And you know what? If I would have focused on what I could not do, I would have focused on proving myself wrong or shrinking myself down, right? Something inside me did something that I didn't accept the lenses of other people. I heard my mama saying I was special, and I learned differently. And I had everyone there with tutors to help me. I was protecting my perception of myself. Instead of focusing on all of that, I focused on improvement. And I didn't focus either, and I really want you to take this in, I hope it lands. Focus on the labels, because there's so many labels out there right now. And I probably have ADD and don't focus on those. Focus on being in the perception of that you are that amazing one. And you know what? In 8th grade, after that teacher in 3rd grade, I actually was the most improved student of the year, went from a 3rd grade reading to an 8th grade reading in 1 year. And that was the first time that I gave my first keynote speech in front of the whole class. Who knew I was a performer and a trainer speaker? But yet standing in front of those people, speaking about my journey, I realized something important. My perception had already shifted long before my circumstances ever did. And when I graduated and went to college and graduated from the University of Oklahoma, at that time, I was the only one in my whole entire family to graduate. And I was the stupid one. But I looked at it was easy, because every day, what did I do? It's easy. I'll get through it. It's easy. So I really encourage you right now to look at the evidence on what is in your life and what is really true and what is not true. And I want you to take that perception and I want you to build that, because it will help you to continue your life. And you know what? I'm standing here today and I've written 12 books. I also am one that would never be possible if I looked at the perception of not being able to read and write. It's powerful when you direct your focus. And that's what I did, is direct my focus. And here's what really matters to you. Your current results are not shaped by only your skills or your resources and your intelligence. It's not. They're shaped by your perception and how you hold about yourself and how you also apply it. So I really encourage that. Perception answers a quiet question running in your background in every decision. Who am I in this situation? If your perception says you are behind, your focus will be rushed. Your focus will rush. If your perception says you are enough, your focus will what? Also fragment. If your perception says you must prove yourself, your focus will what? Exhaust you. Yet, when perception is grounded, focus becomes steady. This is where leadership lives. Strong leaders do not have louder focus. They have clearer perception. Just boom, boom, boom. They perceive challenges accurately and they step into them. And they see themselves different. This is so important because it keeps the focus usable and right there in front of you. Practical applications. Not something you ignore. It's something you work with. When you notice yourself feeling scattered, overwhelmed, or unfocused, the question is not, what am I doing wrong? No, the question is what? What perception am I operating from right now? And that brings up the action steps. And those action steps are powerful in knowing what those action steps are. So in my book, there is action steps that you can go through. So take a look and go ahead, because it can help you in what can teach you in going through those action steps. Because when perception becomes intentional, focus follows. And when focus is aligned, potential does not need to be chased. It is revealed. And you know what? We're going to be right back after this important message.
If you're listening to the EnergizeUtv, you already know the power of connection. Now imagine sharing your contact info instantly. No typing, no paper, no friction. Our digital business cards let you share your name, phone, social links, and website with one simple scan. Perfect for professionals who want to automate building their network. Ready to upgrade how you connect? Scan the QR code on the screen and get your digital business card built by JavaLogix today.
Beautiful. You all need that digital business card. I know you do. And you know what? Many of you have been asking to show a little bit more about the Wrigley Mansion. So before we continue, I would love to share the feeling of the energy of this place. Wrigley Mansion is not just a location. It is a living expression of vision, care, and legacy. So here you go. I wanted to share with you some of the interesting facts about this legendary place, the Wrigley Mansion. One of them is there's quite a few different of the fireplaces, and they kept them as original as they could. And yet also in this room that we're in today, this is the bedroom of one of the kids. And allegedly in this bedroom, Elvis Presley stayed here. And also, this was also named because it has a Morocco, beautiful chandelier kind of, it's more of a Art Deco. And then above that, you'll see that it is a beautiful art that was painted by hand by an artist out of Italy. Wow. So This is the bedroom, and we have Morocco in Morocco, and that's why this is like this. So I wanted just for you to kind of take this energy in of this historical place, because it's so iconic, how beautiful. I mean, these are original pieces that they have left here. This is antique, and it comes from, this comes from the breakfast nook, actually, downstairs. And this table actually came from downstairs. And they moved it up to this bedroom. So I wanted to just share that with you. And I hope that you kind of get that feeling of this beautiful legacy here. And I'm so thrilled that I'm able to record from this beautiful place, because the energy just comes through. So until next time, I'm going to show you something different. And also, I want to thank you, the listeners, the viewers, for being here today, because I see you and I celebrate you, and I thank you for being here. Welcome, Nicole Fonovich. I'm so excited that you're with me today. I've known you for years, so please introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, I'm a mom, first and foremost. I'm an entrepreneur, a traveler, musician, author. And very excited to be here today at the Wrigley Mansion with you.
How did you feel driving up to this place?
Oh my God, first the mountains. Of course, that just stole my heart. And then you set eyes on this beautiful house nestled on this hill. It's gorgeous on this beautiful day in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, whoa.
Blessed to live here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be here with you today. You know, I can't believe actually that all these years later I'm sitting across from the table with you in the line of work that I am doing, because you were my first introduction over 10 years ago to this field, if you could believe it. I've always been in the corporate field, but where I meshed corporate and wellness is really thanks to you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm honored for that, because knowing what you do, and I can't wait to tell you what she is doing, is it's revolutionary in what you're doing. But you know, so thank you very much. And yes, it was an honor way back then to be able to do that. So, but yet I'm going to jump right in, because today we're talking about that focus and how to do that focus, and then how we become and step into our wellness also. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on right now with energy, as I talked about earlier, but there's such a need now than ever for corporate wellness. And the corporations are seeking this more and more.
Yeah. Actually, burnout is a crisis here in America. And a really good question to ask ourselves is it deregulated, unregulated stress? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're suffering from here?
Well, and that's absolutely, because the burnout that most companies are going through, and it's really interesting, because if burnout were a company policy, most workplaces would win the Employee of the Year award, now wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Taking care of ourselves seems to be the least of our priorities, when it should be the most important thing we do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you know, burnout is not a personal failure. It is a system without recovery. And I like that one, because in 2012, they did a research out of Harvard University, and that was led by this man, Dr. Herman Benson, and that found that the regular meditation and relaxation practices reduce the stress, improve focus, and lower burnout and the beauty of the professionals. So, and that's what we need, is that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Our bodies have everything already inside of us, and we just needed the key to unlock it. Yes. And I truly feel that going within, finding that stillness, regulating our breath, which is our barometer to our nervous system, is our way to really tap into managing our stress.
So you recommend that we do this, right? I mean, this is a big thing. Yes.
I've spent the last decade advocating that this is really a way to fully support ourselves holistically.
Yes. And you know, I call you a corporate wellness builder. And why is that? Because you built a corporate wellness solution for the groups to ground up, from the ground up. Because I have known you for this long, and you've built this from the ground up. You created a comprehensive wellness research list, and you deliver it directly to the corporations that says, hey, here we go. You do it to the hotels, the resorts, and the healthcare system, schools, and the executive teams. Tell us a little bit about that and where that came from and why. Because I know, wait, you had 7 surgeries?
Just on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been a lifetime learner of yoga. It has always been my go-to for when PT finished. I could utilize yoga to help me fully recover and still keep it in my life. I was a gymnast growing up, so this seemed like
me too.
natural,
Yep.
Right? Nadia Comaneci was my favorite. She was my star. However, as I got older, I always kept coming back to yoga. Learning to find the stillness practices have been even more profound in managing any chronic pain as it relates to my back condition, degenerative disc disease. Mm-hmm. However, building this team has been something that I just naturally, my way of giving back, curated a bunch of holistic healers who have, over the course of 9 years, cultivated over 90 services, one of which you are offering on our team. I'm so excited. Not only in the corporate sector, but hospitals. We do virtual work across the United States, globally. Our ability to help people in the holistic wellness has increased exponentially as a result of us pairing together and not having a brick and mortar.
So basically what's happening is, and this is where I say that you're this builder of this, the corporate wellness builder, because you have created a way to have all of the facilitators, the practitioners, from like yoga to water to even the speakers to trainers to even me coming on as the event energy conductor and to hold space for events. You have like all of this, but you have it all in one place. And I really want people to get this, because even entrepreneurs, mama bears, papa bears, whatever you're doing, you might be in a place where you go, well, you know what, I need somebody, someone to help me. And the thing is you have vetted these people. And that's the thing. They all have insurance. And I really want people to get this, because usually only one trusted ecosystem organization can access these CEOs, these corporations, healthcare, all of these. They can access this.
Yes.
And it's not just woo-wee-woo meditation. And, I teach Tai Chi. I'm going to be on there too. But yet, it's not that. No. There's other that really help with what we're talking about is focus, right. Is not having that burnout.
Right. Corporate coaching is a perfect example, right? Having had 12 years in the corporate sector and now crossing over into this, I'm able to advocate, of course, how these services really support wellness in the corporate sector, right? So it's being able to really speak both languages. However, what's beautiful is these services, they support a variety of different things, not only in a company in which the employees are having an unusual amount of sick days or needing time off of work, having a lot of family things happening. This allows them to bring health right into that space rather than carving out additional time after work or before work to go into a health club, adding more time onto their day, right? So bringing it directly to them, either virtually or in person, has been huge.
This is wonderful, because even virtually you can bring this and you can make a difference. I love this. So give me an example of maybe a corporation that you went into and you could tell that the whole, like, you had a lot of burnout, you have a lot, and then just a couple of your different ones that you brought in. You don't have to go into them, But then what happened and how did you see that culture change?
Well, what I do notice, we have a regular ongoing program here where it's hybrid. We meet with the employees regularly at the headquarters, and then our programs are streamed virtually. And initially, they were very trepidatious on having us come in and what the class was going to involve and how it was going to play out. And then, of course, as time went on, now they're asking for it to come regularly into their workspace. They're opening up to things like sound healing.
Whoa.
Yes, and they wanted dance classes as a way to bring their employees together.
Wow.
Right? So it's expanding into a variety of the different corporate workshops that we bring directly in, not just yoga, which is really the thing that people are most willing to try right off the bat. They've heard of it, it's mainstream. However, once that door gets opened and they've seen the benefits of that practice, they're more apt and willing to try other things. We have had extensive surveys of programs that we've done, and we've seen reduction of a lot of things like anxiety, specifically sadness, right? So those are the things that's impacting greatly.
And what it impacts is the retention. They don't have as many sick days. They're not calling in because they're having, and they know. And I really believe that one of the biggest points here is that they really enjoy looking forward.
Here we go.
They have something to look forward to instead of I'm going to work, going to work, going to work.
They're bringing their yoga mat. They're talking about it around the cooler, right? Because they're expanding around that as a team building way to bring in health, positive experience in the workspace. Yeah. Right. So that's what we're really seeing, and of course, feelings of happiness are increased. Feelings of euphoria. These are amazing in the workspace.
It is, and the big thing too is the value that now they place on themselves, because they're with 3 or 4 of their colleagues, 10 of their colleagues. They're all going through it. They feel valued. They feel part of a team. Now, this also works with the entrepreneurs, but let's talk about individuals. Individuals that might need not just necessarily, because you're reaching the CEOs, the leaders, the teams, the institutes, and you make a wellness accessible and organizations actionable for both the large and the small. And I know that, but yet most people, they kind of have that burnout isn't a badge honor. It's a nervous system begging for that regulation. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, the nice part is we offer a free, customized consultation and offer what holistic solutions are available for them, depending on what it is that they're needing or their goal is. So this way, they don't have to come and pick from a menu of like, what is going to work best for me? I'm exhibiting anxiety, right? And because an individual who hasn't been schooled in all of these things may not know what might work best for them. And the best part is different modalities work for different people at different times. And so just because something doesn't work right now doesn't mean in 5 years down the line you can't revisit it and it might be perfect at that moment. So that's what I think I've learned in my entire journey. They're all beautiful practices that have been thousands of years old, actually, that we're now just reintroducing back into the Western world and into the workspace, which is where the stress is the most. That's the population that's being crushed. And so that's, of course, where we feel it's needed.
Yeah. And what would you say for a CEO that he's looking out and he's like, wow, everybody's doing okay, but we could do better. We could do better. What are maybe 2 or 3 signs, maybe one sign that it's like, I think we need to bring in a corporate wellness and bring something into my corporation? What would be 1 or 2 signs to give them right now?
Well, if they're noticing, especially at meetings, just taking a glance around, seeing the energy, seeing the camaraderie between the group, seeing if their smiles on people's faces, body language says a lot, right? So you could read how your workforce is doing by really connecting with them and seeing where they are at. Because the more happy, right, and full your workforce is, the more thriving your business is going to be. So
it's really, it's like reading the room, but many corporations, many CEOs, they're not going to be able to get that. Or how do I really, I think what you said, and I want to reiterate, because this is the important part, is that if you're looking out and everybody wants to get on their phone, everybody's spacing out, there's no smiles, there's nobody really talking to each other when you walk into the room, you will know this is time that I need to bring my team together. Mm-hmm. And your team is the employees. It's not just the CEOs or the upper management, even though I really believe the upper management needs it first.
Yeah.
And that's why you do have corporate trainers and that come in and teach, as I do, is go in and teach them about energy and how to bring the employees in.
Yeah, life coaching, simple life coaching, putting the key elements of their life into balance. But from a tangible standpoint, like a lot of sick days, right?
Yeah,
the company not doing as well as it's been doing previously, right? Health insurance costs, seeing how, right, how many mental health days people are taking. Mm-hmm. If you assess this from quarter to quarter, you might be able to see some identifiable changes happening.
Right? Beautiful. Yes, for sure. I love that. You know, corporate wellness isn't about yoga mats and break rooms. It's about teaching people how to come back to themselves when they're under pressure. So true?
So true.
And many people do look at it's the yoga thing. It isn't. There's so much more that you can do and bring into any environment. And this is even entrepreneurs. You need to make sure, because even with this that you're giving with these lists, there's people that do energy work. There's people that go and do massages, yes. But really like deeper stuff that you can experience. And that's what I always say. I really challenge each and every one of you to get an energy clearing, get an energy healing session. And what the big thing is now is Reiki. It's really out there. So people are hearing it.
That's what first opened up my eyes to this world. I was thinking to myself, why aren't I getting a massage? And then boom. And I was changed forever. So
and then you called me.
I'm so full of gratitude. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I have the goosebumps.
She's got goosebumps. Yeah, and I do too, because I've been doing this for over 30 years. But to be able to be here now and be able to get the word out, and then the podcast and the TV show about how to do this, and interviewing people that are making that choices and making the difference, it just really feels and hits my soul. So I really appreciate it. And what we just talked about was about, it's not about yoga mats. And I really like this study, and it was a research found that, and it was 2022, the majority of executives now rank employees' well-being as top organizational priority, direct tied to performance, retention, and long-term stability. Companies report that corporate wellness strategy are no longer optional, yet essential for productivity, engagement, and comprehensive advancement. Please talk about that. I mean, that study alone.
Yeah, you can't have a sustainable business with deregulated leaders.
There you go. And that's the biggest one, because when those leaders are, what are they doing? That energy just goes down and down and just trickles all the way down.
Correct.
So it's time for, no matter how big your company is, even if you're an entrepreneur, that is one thing with me. I have 6 people on my staff. And all 6 of them get regular energy. We talk about what they're doing. If they're not being able because they don't have time, we need to look at their time. And I'm there to say, well, then we need to take that off your plate, because you need, and I don't tell people, but yet you get to take the time. And if that's meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, it doesn't matter what it is, but there's something that will resonate with you that you need to take care of every day.
Yeah. Funny, on our admin task, the first thing is self-care for them. So that's also empowerment, right? What do I need to care for myself today to be able to show up for myself?
Yeah. Resilient employees aren't the ones who push through pain. They're not. You've probably seen this before. They're the ones who know how to reset. You know, people aren't going to understand what that reset, what do they mean by that?
Resetting. You know, your breath is your barometer. Being one of the most important things in life, the first thing you do when you're born and the last thing you do before transitioning, the breath is your barometer, right? So when it is sped up or fast-paced, it is an indication your nervous system is irregulated. So that's our first clue into that.
And I love that because when we really look at resetting, we're resetting the nervous system. And a lot of things are talked about now about the nervous system. And I think most people are starting to get that. And you can see that in employees when things are going around and they're the only ones that are just like, they're on project, they're on task. Those are the ones that know how to do this. And I just want to say that because I want leaders, and it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or what, it doesn't matter what small or big company, to recognize those leaders.
Yeah, chronic stress is really something that's built up over a period of time. And unfortunately, when we go to sleep at night, it doesn't always reset our nervous system entirely.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where these practices could help expand the reset, so to speak, right? You get more hours of rest and relaxation when you're leveraging Eastern practices into your Western world.
Yes. And I think a big thing, what you just said, was sleep.
Correct.
And I want everyone to hear this about sleep. Go ahead.
So really, most of the people in this country are sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Right?
And studies show that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And whether we are not sleeping fully at night, we have stress weighing on us, the amount of sleep that's shown that we need to reset isn't really fully obtained. And so when we wake up in the morning and our gas tank is not on full, it's already on medium or like low medium, it's very difficult to ever get back to a full tank. And
because I'm going to interrupt, but isn't it true that your body actually remembers that you didn't get enough sleep? Because people say they go on vacation and they sleep the whole time. They're like, man, but it's because you haven't slept for months.
Yeah. Or that's saying I'll sleep when I die.
Oh, that's the worst, the worst. So interesting. But I mean, we have to talk about the sleep because it's so general, but you know, we just don't really get that it's so vital. And I'm a 6-hour girl.
Yeah.
And you might be a 5-hour. You might be an 8-hour.
Yeah.
So everybody's different.
Absolutely. However, it ranks high up there with nutrition and exercise. Sleep is a huge component of your overall health. So if you're not getting the right amount of sleep, you are not truly doing yourself a service. You're not putting yourself first. You are not being the priority.
Let's just take a moment for that. And to remember that the priority is you, because you cannot show up, and that's leaders to anyone. And, you know, this is the important part of all of what we're doing with the self-care, which is the hottest thing going right now.
It's a hot topic, right? Especially New Year's comes along and people get on the bandwagon and then they slip. But this is a lifelong practice.
I tell my students that all the time. It's not like something you do just for a little while and then you don't. And I really believe too is taking the time to go on a retreat. And I know that you do some retreats. And because I know one of them I want to go to. Where was it?
It's an international retreat in Bali.
In Bali, that's what I'm going to go to that one. I can't
in May.
wait. Yeah.
We have 2 spots still available, so if you want to come, 2 spots. However, it's in Ubud, the most spiritual area.
Say it slower.
Ubud.
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 Okay.
Ubud.
Okay.
And it's in the jungle in Indonesia, and it's nestled, the retreat facility is nestled on 700 acres of rice fields. It has its own organic farm attached to it.
Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? Keep going, keep going. Oh my
We're having
gosh,
the most amazing yoga instructors teaching yoga there, and
all the other stuff.
All the other stuff.
Yes,
oh yeah, we'll be bathing under waterfalls and going to temples and that.
So I just want to say to everyone too, you know, you listeners and viewers, you know, I love you so much, and I always remind you to take those breaths, drink more water. Every day on Facebook and Instagram, I tell you I love you, and to do that. And I want you to think about, where's your retreat for you? And when are you going to take the time for you? And yes, I know when there's Christmas and Thanksgiving, we do the thing where we go to the family and all that. But what is that once a year that you go? And maybe you don't go with your partner, your husband, or your wife. It doesn't matter. But what is it for you? And I want you to think about, there's a lot of retreats out there. And I just want to say kudos to you, Nicole, because not only are you helping with the employees, you're helping with humanity in what you do. Because this is real. We're going to have corporations, and they're going to work them 40 hours a week, which we're the only country, right, that actually works this much.
Minimally.
Yeah. So thank you, because the retreats help, and then also the rest. So I just see this as taking a lot of the pressures. And, you know, there's so many researches that have gone out, like the University of California in San Francisco came out with the breath work and mindfulness that really helped the emotional and retention in corporations. And because they are under high pressure, and a lot of them are at high pressure when they get home. They're taking care of their elders. They're taking care of their parents. They might be with the kids.
Yeah. And we never learned these skills in school.
Boom.
That's the piece.
Yeah, see, that is the big one. That's the writer downer. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the mic drop. We never, and especially my generation.
Right.
My generation never learned any of that.
No.
We were just considered lazy, but it wasn't. We were just under so much stress we couldn't do anything. I love this conversation. Yeah, totally paralyzed in all ways.
Yeah.
You know, this has been an amazing conversation about how we connect with our employees. And like I said, I still believe that you are like the builder. And because I've never heard of anyone else doing this, and you're helping so many to connect, and they need that right now. So thank you so much for being here, Nicole. And what is your free gift?
Ooh, I have a special meditation for stress and anxiety. So I'm so excited to share that with everybody. Please receive that and give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from all the experiences.
Fabulous. That is fabulous. And you know what? Right now, right here is her contact information. So reach out to her. There's so many beautiful gifts she offers, and don't leave without her free gift right here. So scan that QR code and you will receive it. And, you know, as we wrap up right now, do you have any final words you'd like to leave for everyone?
Putting yourself first, the investment that you make in yourself is the best one that you could possibly make. That's really it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. And you know, it was a beautiful time with Nicole, and I'm so excited that got to happen, and to learn so much from her. And if you would like to experience more beyond today's show, I would love for you to give you a membership of the Energy Reset Session. These are gentle Tai Chi inspired movements designed to help you to feel calm, feel grounded. So just scan the QR code, get online with me every Monday and Wednesday, and I can't wait to see you. And if you would like to even go deeper, these books hold the foundation of my teaching. You can experience here that you've been experiencing here on EnergizeUtv, and they are available to you, and I will personally sign them if you go to that website. So you know what? Next week, we're so excited. We're going to go into a deep dive with Shantoya Thompson, and she's going to join us to explore the perceptions, and from vision to velocity, making big ideas sustainable. Let me tell you, she's fun. You don't want to miss this one. And you know what? Here she is right now in her spotlight moment.
Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Shantoya Nicole Thomas, founder of Shantoya Nicole LLC and visionary of Brighter View Life Enrichment Centers, where our mission is to create inclusive spaces for growth, independence, wellness, and purpose for individuals with developmental disabilities and families. I'm so honored to be featured on EnergizeUtv. Angel Marie, thank you for being such a radiant beacon of light. My golden nugget is this: healing is the work, and your energy is your first strategy. Before the plan, before the next move, before the leadership call, check your energy, protect your peace, and move in alignment. Whether you're on a healing journey, building a vision, or leading others, remember, your energy matters. Your voice matters, and you are not alone. Let's rise, shine, and align together.
Fabulous. Didn't you enjoy that? You know what? You're not alone, and your energy really does matter. Thank you, Shantoya, for that. So mark your calendar for next week. You're going to love this conversation. And remember, your energy is the music of your life. So keep it tuned, keep it flowing, and keep it shining bright. I'll be right here every Thursday, bringing you wisdom, energy, and golden nuggets to lift you higher and higher. Because this show is not just a show. It's a movement. It's a global impact. Until I get to see you next time, keep igniting your energy, activating your joy, and always elevating your abundance. See you next time. Before you go, take a moment and ask yourself one simple question. What am I taking with me from this conversation? I'm Angel Marie, and this is EnergizeUtv.